Welcome to the Hamsi Analytics Daily Market Commentary. I'm Paulo Navarro. Today is Wednesday, September 12, 2012. For the market internals, the New York Stock Exchange advanced decline differential closed at 485. Nasdaq advanced decline differential closed at 426. We had 47 new 52-week highs for the S&P 500 and 2 new 52-week lows for the S&P 500. Very bullish action here in the number of 52-week highs and 52-week lows. For the volatility, there were 531,000 contracts traded on the VIX with 59 million in total premiums paid. For the dollar-weighted put-call ratio in September, we saw a 1.7, which is neutral, with 11% of the total premiums paid. On October, a 0.62, which is neutral, with 23% of the total premiums paid. On November, a 0.16, which is bearish, with 18% of the total premiums paid. And January, an 11.22, which is bullish, with 22% of the total premiums paid. Here we have the daily chart for SPX. We have today an update 3 handles. Not much for the day, but we're waiting for FOMC tomorrow. It started today, and tomorrow we're going to have the decision. So that's going to be a very important day, maybe an important day trade here. So let's get some target going. On the downside, we're looking for 1427. And on the upside, we're looking for the positive 2 sigma, which right now is at 1438, 1437. That's gonna be 1439. So 1427 to the downside, 1439 to the upside. We need to take into consideration here, maybe come and test the highs of the year we made this last week. That's gonna be an important level up here. And to see if we get a new quantitative easing of what Ben Bernanke is going to come out with. A lot of expectation has been built up into this market, so maybe the risk is to the downside. Targets here for the weekly pivot support and resistance are 1424, almost in line for the with the 27 we talked about, and 1450. That's gonna be our support number, resistance number 1. In case we do get a ugly sell-off, we're looking for 1410. That's gonna be our target on the downside for SPX. Looking for SPY to get some targets here. We're looking for 143 and 145.75. Those are gonna be our 2 targets to look at. That's gonna be weekly pivot at 143 and 145.75. That's gonna be resistance number 1 on the weekly. Here we have also, if we get a deep sell-off, maybe on some bad news that we don't get anything from Ben Bernanke or the Federal Reserve, we're looking for 141.50. That's gonna be our support here on the 60-minute chart for the weekly pivot support and resistance. Going to the Nasdaq Etf, here we have the Qs, and we're below the pivot, the weekly pivot here at 68.70. So we're looking below that for a 68 evens. That's gonna be our first target on the downside. Maybe come and test this 67, 66, 66. That's gonna be our weekly resistance. Support number 2. In case we break to the upside, we're looking for 70. That's gonna be our upper target. And maybe if we get a bigger rally here, look for 71. Remember, today we had Apple coming with the iPhone 5. Not much happening here for Apple. Pretty much flat for the day. You could see here it ended up at the end gaining 1.63% or 10 points. Interesting action here overall. If we look at the daily chart, this is what Apple chart looks like. We have a hammer here. Very interesting pattern here. Looks like we're gonna come and try to test these highs of the year that we've made so far. So we're looking for the 189. Make that new high here for 189 is gonna be that target on the daily chart. That's 2 sigma, and we have this positive green hammer here today, which confirms the interesting bullish pattern here we had. Let's go to the IWM. This is the Russell 2000 ETF. We continue to be a little bit overbought here on the positive 2 sigma, and now trying to enter here on the positive 1, positive 2 sigma channel, which is the place to be. for a continuing rally here. So we're looking for 83.26, and let's call it 84.50. That's gonna be the range we wanna be. For that range is gonna continue to increase as the market goes higher. So to get some targets here on the IWM, we're looking for 83 on the downside, weekly pivot, and if we break 81.70, those are gonna be the downside targets. On the upside, we're looking for 85.55, 86.90. We must look and remember here we had the highs of the year a couple of months ago. Well, maybe we had it today. No, not quite. We almost had the new high for the year for the IWM. We talked about this pattern. If we broke the inverse head and shoulders, we draw here last week and we said that we closed above 82.5. This inverse head and shoulders, the target would be test the highs of the year, which almost was done today. We went 1 penny below the high of the year of 84.66. Today the high was 84.65. So that's gonna be our target, a high of the year. Very important here on the IWM, which means the risk is coming back onto the market. If we get here tomorrow the target we are looking for 85.55, that would be the high of the year. Maybe look for 87, some breakout on the daily chart, and maybe then look for some consolidation. So here we have very interesting patterns, some bullish action here on the IWM ETF. Going to GLD. On GLD, let's start with the daily chart. Here we have the daily chart. We have an outside day reversal for the daily chart and pretty much flat today. Nothing happening here. We continue to be on the +1, +2 sigma channel, which is the place to be. We are no longer overbought here on the daily chart. But one thing to look at here, which is concerning, is look at the way CI is acting here. We do not have any divergences right now. Higher highs here and higher highs here, which is good. That looks like the pattern starting to try to find a short-term top here on the market. I'm not saying this is it, but I'm saying maybe start being caution here on gold on the short term. For the targets, tomorrow is going to be a very important day for GLD, and we have 167 weekly pivot, but that's going to be probably broken in case we have some bad news. So we're looking for 165 better. On the upside, we're looking for 170.40 and 172.40. Maybe 172.40 is too far away, so let's call the targets 170.40 and 165. Those are going to be our two targets for tomorrow or for Friday. Remember, gold has lots of expectations built in already into the price. So if we don't get QE, maybe we get a deep sell-off here tomorrow. Last chart we're gonna look at, VIX. Let's go to the daily chart. Here we have the daily VIX chart, and we could see here we continue to be around 15. We closed at 1580 and continue to be trying to go higher, maybe waiting for some news to happen. As we mentioned, we want to come and test this 200-day moving average, and the best thing would be to fail again. That would bring us lower to the 15-14 area. That would be a very bearish pattern here for VIX, and which implies a good market or a rising market for equities. We have a special offer by TradeStation. Get your Hamsig Analytics proprietary indicators paid by TradeStation. Contact Active Traders Office in Chicago, Peter Albino, on the number listed below. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.